Hell now, brown cow.
How now, brown cow?
Hell now, brown cow. Hey,
How brown is that cow?
That cow is definitely brown. Sally sells seashells down by the seashore.
Condensation. Shun.
This episode of Fishtank will leave you guys quivering with anticipation.
That's good.
Hello,
Salutations.
glorious trolleys. It's good to see you guys again this week. As you guys can see, I am joined by my favorite compatriot, my hetero life mate, my brother from another mother, my co-host, Mr. Dead Diablo.
How you doing?
Yeah, and this week we're going to be going over the rush on Digimon staples. We're going to be talking our favorite cards from Time Spiral Remastered. And finally, your boy takes some big swings at NTG God. Find out all this and more as we splash on into the fish tank.
Bloop.
Woo! All right, so, Dad, you know how I've been very into Digimon for the past, week? Well, since I found out about it, but since 1.5
Clarify card game, and it's been longer than a week, buddy. We were talking about this in December.
Yeah, 1.5 came out, so I've been very excited. I've been paying attention to the singles market very closely. And a bunch of cool stuff has been happening.
Some would say too closely.
Hey. The market's not going to move if I don't watch it, okay? If I'm not watching it, it could move without me noticing.
I'm going to request they get a gavel, so I'm just like, every
Bang.
time I judge. Just...
Okay, so let's give some people some context, because a lot of people don't know what buyouts are because they're very unfamiliar with that term in card gaming, especially if they're not familiar with the financial side of card games, which is where buyouts happen. So, buyouts. Let me look up where I had it. Okay. So, a buyout happens whenever there's a very low supply of singles out there in the market, but there's a very high demand for it. For instance, back in 2015, there was a buyout of a card called Blood Moon from Magic the Gathering. This card hovered between the $25 and $20 mark for like all of its life while it was in Modern, but the card wasn't reprinted. The last printing of the card was 10th edition, right? 10th or 8th edition, where it was barely legal for the cutoff part of Modern, but it was a staple in that format. So several big brain investors got the idea of, hey, why don't we just buy all the copies and charge what we want?
It's basically seeing a hole in supply and demand.
Yes.
It's like, man, if this card ever spikes, it's going to go up a lot because it was only printed in, we'll say, for the sake of argument, one set. Draw and Lockbird, for example,
From Yu-Gi-Oh.
in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is printed in one. It's like, man, if the demand of this card ever goes up, it's only printed in first edition at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was Starstruck Blast.
Yep, Starstruck Blast.
So it was only printed in first edition. You only had the one wave. It was a short print set.
It was also a short print rare, too.
Yeah, so people started wanting to play on their sideboard, so people just started gathering them because they're like, if any card is going to go up, it's this one right now.
Yep.
Formula Synchron was the same way for a second until it got reprinted.
Another card that was a short print common from that set that reached $50 at one point, Vanity's Emptiness. That was also a short print common from Star Trek Blast that had a lot of buyouts in its lifetime.
So to correlate that to Digimon, product little harder to get currently.
Yeah, a little, I would say almost impossible to get sealed product for a decent price.
So if you find a card that is attainable and you buy all of it or a large quantity of it,
you can jack up the price and charge whatever you want to. I think that move makes sense for a lot of cards. Like, I think it makes sense for alt arts in this game because alt arts are very hard to find. Yep. They have the same pull ratios as secret rares, so I also think secret rares are also a safe buyout purchase. Or I hate using the term buyout whenever I'm just talking about like investments, right?
And generally, like alt art variants are less likely to get reprinted across games. I won't speak for that. With a grain of salt, this is a different card game.
Yeah. Bandai has this thing where they reprint cards, but they don't reprint artwork. So typically, like we see this in Dragon Ball Super all the time, we see card reprints of different promo art, but they'll have like a different background. They'll have a new pose from the alternative artworks. Bandai has shown that they are very unwilling to reprint the exact same artwork again. Um, so I think that's all the alt arts. See this All Force Digimon. Right now, currently, these are sitting on auction marketplaces for about anywhere between $50 to $70, depending on like where you're looking. Which is, I think, totally justifiable. I think All Force Digimon is a tier 1.5 deck, and it's a sick alt art, right? Look at this guy. He has a Mega Man sword. Oh, he looks so cool.
That was the first thing I noticed.
Yeah, it looks like he's from Mega Man X, right?
The Capcom boy in me was...
We'll come back over to Shine Greymon. There's a card that was recently bought out that is a secret rare. Let's see if we can find him. Oh, Omnimon Alter S. All right, so whenever 1.5 first came out, this card was hovering around the 110 to 105 range, right? Booster boxes right now, you're lucky if you can find them for under 150. So it would make sense that this card would be $100, right? Big brain ideas. If boxes are 170, why is this card only 100? Right? Because this is a secret. Like, you're only guaranteed 1.5 secrets per set. And alt arts can take your place of your secrets. Yeah, alt arts typically take the place of super rares, but they can also take the place of secrets because secrets have alt arts. So it leads to just different print runs, and it leads to like weird pull ratios. So someone got the big brain idea to buy out Omnimon Ultra S. The card is now, so we have two different versions of this card, right? We have the Alter Art, which is this guy with the old big Blitz Greymon cannon. And then we have Greymon sword, regular art. All right. The Alter S is twice as rare. The alternate art is twice as rare as the pack art one. But guess the difference between their prices right now. Guess that. Just guess.
Well, since you phrased it that way, I'm gonna say like $20.
Exactly. All right. So
we did not go over this before. That was just a guess. I'm just that good.
Yes. No. Yeah. You're 100% on the ballpark. It's like $17 is the gap between the two price tags right now. Like, and that doesn't make any sense to me. This only happens because someone bought out the 20 copies that existed of Alter S. But
they didn't buy out the alternate art.
They didn't buy that out because that card was already at its premium.
Yeah.
So I'm not knocking that. I think that's actually
hypothetically correct. Like, so in theory, and generally across other games, so if you buy out the non-foil version of a card in Magic, then that card goes from $20 to $80. The foil was probably setting at $50, so it usually stabilizes and goes up to that 110, 120. So if Omnimon sticks at that, and that is its price, that alternate will eventually settle to adjust to where it should be. If it's twice as hard to get, and
eventually, whenever supply stabilizes, you'll definitely see one start ticking up while one stays the same, or drastically goes back down because there's more supply.
That being said, this is being re-released.
We got a little bit. We're putting the horse before the cart there. All right.
I didn't even know we had a horse.
It's a fish horse. It's a seahorse.
Fish horse. You said fish horse.
I didn't. So I like the Omnimon Ultra S buyouts. I think those are okay, right? I feel like if you're going to invest in anything, it should be the secrets, all these sets, secrets, and alt arts. What I don't think that you should buy into, it's the buyout that happened. So Shine Greymon. Shine Greymon is a tier deck going into this format. It's also a super rare and alternative art. On release, Shine Greymons were sitting between $25 to $30 with a ton of supply, like a metric ton of them in stock. Now, by the way, these prices are going over auction websites, certain ones that you people might not know about. So someone gets it in their big old brain to buy out all 70 copies.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
I mean, I know I didn't do it, so someone at this table must have.
Listen, just because I'm interested in the red or yellow deck
Mhm.
doesn't mean I did this. I'm affected by this.
Alright, so this happened yesterday. The time frame was 8 a.m. yesterday to around like 1 p.m. So it's about 4 to 5 hours ish.
That's way too early to be making that poor of a decision.
Yeah. So someone buys out all 70 copies of Shine Greymon for less than $50. He buys every single copy. Then relists them because this is a common practice in auction sites, right? Where you'll buy cards from another person. As soon as you get your shipping info, you immediately relist them, right? Because it just cuts down on your time. So as soon as those cards come in, you immediately just repackage, resend. Saves a lot of time on your end. So you relist all these cards for $55.
Good margin.
Mm-hmm. I then watched throughout the day as more and more listings listed because this card is a super rare. So this card is very common to get.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Oh, the Toad Before the Troll.
Yeah, that was very good. I was waiting for a break so I could point it out. It was so good.
That's good, Dragon. Oh, God. Bro, I'm looking for a writer.
I'll let you, boy.
I'll let you, boy. You know. So there's a ton of supply for this card, and there's constantly going to be a ton of supply for this card because it's a super rare. This is basically a rare in Magic the Gathering, right? Like, essentially they are. Sure, there's rares in like the Digimon packs, but like you get 2 rares per pack sometimes, and man, you just get a lot of rares. So I just don't understand why someone would think it would be a good move to buy a super rare out, a card that you are always going to have tons of stock.
Okay, so as a layman, how many packs are in a box?
24.
24 packs in a box. What's the pull rate on super rares?
On super rares, you get typically around 4 to 5. Alt arts can to overtake them, and secret can overtake your alt. So like typically you're guaranteed like 1.5 secrets, and then 2 to 3 X alt arts and X super rares. Of course, alt arts can take place of super rares can take place.
Okay, so they are replaced, but they have the higher pull rate.
Yes.
How many super rares are in the set?
Maths.
This is important maths.
20?
If you're ever going to do a buyout, I don't necessarily condone this, but if you ever intend to, this is the math you should use.
1, 2, 3. I keep talking as I'm doing this because I'm going to be doing this for a little bit.
Okay, good. So the premise is, the easier the card is to get, the less likely it is. So if, in this case, you buy out a $10 super rare, it's got a high pull rate, and let's say of a secret there's 100 copies, right? But of a super there's 500 copies, and you buy 100 copies of the super to raise it from $10 to $40. Well, then you've got 400 other copies that people are just going to throw up for $20 and double their money.
Only 10 supers in the set.
Okay, so there's only 10 supers, and there's
you're getting so many of these. Like, Dad, you watched my box.
You should theoretically get one a box of that that specific card, right?
Yeah. You should, right? Bunny ears around the best probability. So like, there's definitely box. Like, I didn't get any Imperial Dramons in my box, but I did crack an all fours. I cracked an additional alternative art that I wasn't supposed to get, and I also got an Omnimon in my box.
And also, it's a yellow card, which is the least hype. So if any of them are going to stabilize, it's probably not going to be this one.
Yeah, it's probably It's also like, this is one of the best decks going into the format. I think the TK from set 1 allows you to look at your life and pick a card, add it to your hand, and then put a card from the top of your deck back, so it replaces itself.
Okay.
But fun fact, you have to grab a card, and you only get the shield replace if you grab a yellow card. So
not spliceable.
Yeah, well, there's some blue-white control decks in this format that play 4 of that card, and oh my god, they do so much damage to themselves. Super fun.
Hi, Proto.
Yo, what's up,
How you
Proto?
doing?
Ooh, how many supers in the set? 10.
10 supers.
So, that's why I'm struggling to understand this. There's also been a bunch of buyouts from set 1.0 where they bought rares out. rares. They bought Drabumon and Puppetmon out and Upamon. So Upamon's a blue baby that you play in every blue deck, unless you're playing the Jammer Vmon. Well, the Jammer Demi Vmon thing. It's one of your premier choices. Drabumon, which was also a premier choice for blue decks, and then Puppetmon, which is a premier tech card in everything. The cards went from $3.50 to $12 because of a buyout. These are rares. So, as Sted alluded to earlier, we are getting a reprint at the end of March, and then halfway through April, we are getting special editions. So we are going to get 2 packs of 1.5 and 1 pack of 1.0, along with a promo pack.
So what you're encountering now is people that they know this, and they're just trying to get their stuff, get in, make their money, and then go on about their day. It's just a quick flip for these people.
Yeah. We're seeing this a lot in the Digimon card game because a lot of people who have tried the finance side of other card games, particularly Yu-Gi-Oh, are trying their hands at the finance game in this. And
it's very similar math. Very similar math.
Yeah. It's just not working out too well for them because the massive amount of print runs is going to happen. So
they're just taking advantage now.
Yes.
So if you're looking at this game, you're like, oh, the buy-in's so steep, it won't be.
But yeah, that's the thing. The cores of your decks are like super inexpensive, right? Like your Vdramon core, your Imperial Dramon core, I think outside of Jammer Vmon, which is a $12 rare, but that card I think should be because it's really good. Outside of that, your deck is like $40. Like, it's super cheap.
And that if you're ever wanting to build a collection, I know this isn't the purpose of this, but it is very important to know that the best thing you can do if you want like a broad playable collection is heavily invest in your deck cores.
Yes.
So if I want to be able to open my binder and go, that's that deck, that's that deck, that's that deck. So my binder would always have like things I did not need that were in the front so people could trade for them. And then my back was always like, these aren't trading unless I'm getting another deck or something that I want to play. And then that way, if I ever was like, I'm tired of the deck I'm playing, then it was an easy transition to be like, okay, well, I've got all of this. I need these 4 value cards and this and this. And then it was really easy to attain. And then I could just switch from deck to deck. I could play a different deck every week for like the most minimal amount.
Yep.
And then you still have those cards. Like whatever you don't trade, you still have. And then if you ever want to go back to the other deck, you're like, oh, well, I have to replace 3 cards.
Yeah, it's all about prioritizing your play style, right?
Yeah.
Like prioritizing what you want to play and then just buying the deck cores that fit that.
Looking at a format, finding I really want to play these 3 decks, and then getting the deck cores for those, and then finding the one that's your favorite. You can play test around. You can proxy to play test. Find somebody to loan you stuff. Play test around, figure out what you want to build. Build that one, have that one, because you'll be having fun with that one. And by the time the new and the fun wears off of that one, you're in a position where you can just grab. Especially if you like bought a box or something, you'll have like 4 or 5 cards you can use, and then the rest is in trade. You can go trade around, get the stuff you want.
Like I literally have the Shine Greymon deck from my box. I need just 2 more Rise Greymons, and I need 3 more Shine Greymons, and my deck's done. Right? Like from my box of 1.5, like there's some 1.0 cards I have to get, like the TK and stuff, but like other than that, it's done.
Right.
And if you're going to buy into the game, I think now is a great time because your cores are so cheap. Like the starter decks have came out and they crushed the prices of Hammer Spark and Gaia Force. Gaia Force used to be $15. Now it's hovering between the $7 and $8 range. So
yeah. Plus, once there's a lot of people that are watching this, they know what's going on, so they're holding off. So when those do come, you're going to see cards that should be a bit more. Once everything stabilizes, hit that point because everybody's like, okay, now I can buy in because I can, I've got my deck cores. Now I'm going to go in on my big cards that are sitting. So you're going to see a lot of $20 cards that like, why is this only $20? Oh, well, I'll get my 4, like, or 3.
Over here in the U.S., we have, the stimulus coming in. So a lot of people already in well-off situations are just going to be investing into hobbies. We saw this happen at the start of the pandemic. That's why you saw a bunch of modern cards blow up in price for Magic, a bunch of Commander cards blow up in price. It's where you see a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards just out of nowhere, like vintage Yu-Gi-Oh just exploded.
I'm very upset that I sold.
Like it's only like the
sometimes you make a bad call.
It's only the GOAT format staples that are like super expensive. But in the all OG prints that are rising, it's just super cool. It's just something to be aware of. If you're gonna buy in, just find out the decks you like and just buy those cores, and then buy the one deck out just outright whenever you feel like the values are what you want out of them.
I would like to label this section Market Watch.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Fishman coming at you today with another Digi Market Watch.
It's your boy.
I miss Drill Pro Winston.
Oh, yeah. He's a good time.
Such an underrated Yugi Pro.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
good guy.
back
Really
over.
nice guy.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact about Drill Pro Winston. Whenever he was playing in the top 8 of Worlds, he had a giant mohawk. Tie-dyed the colors of the American flag with his name in USA like bird into his hair. And he played at Chain Draw Exodia, and he's my hero. He was the only American to make top 8 of that Worlds. And I was watching him. He beat 6 Samurai. That was an auto loss matchup, and he 2-0'd it.
That was the one where he used Dragon Draw Exodia, right?
Hope for Escape Exodia.
Yeah. He got a card banned.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pearl Winston.
Same bad calls the old first edition Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Oh yeah. Hey, sometimes you just can't make calls like that, right? Like sometimes who would have thought Serpent Knight Dragon from MRD would be worth so much money, right?
Well, see, it just hit a point where it's like, well, these have hit the point that they're going to hit, right? Because like anybody that wants them has gotten them, blah, 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 blah. No one could have expected the level of just like collection, like just collectors. The collecting market across every card game has just exploded.
Yeah. Man, people just have a lot of time. People want to do what makes them happy.
You're coming off of a year where like a lot of investors and stuff, like Wall Street was shut down. Like, so they're at home and they're just like, what can I do? And then, a lot of those people are in sports cards. They're in Magic. Like they're people when they get home.
That's not even getting into like the Logan Paul and like Pokemon investor situation where like you're bringing actual stock market people into Pokemon to buy vintage stock.
Yeah, I mean it's not hard to look at it, and I mean these have been called cardboard stocks jokingly in the industry forever. So it's not hard to see why. Yeah, and a lot of times it's more sound because I mean you saw what happened with game stocks.
It's just so liquid, right? Like being able to buy a card immediately and being able to flip it immediately instead of having like the years delay like in real estate or like in stock. Like you could buy a stock and try to resell it and you immediately lose money, right? In cards, you can immediately, we've done this at events multiple times, pick up a card for $10 and immediately walk over to another person 10 feet away and trade that card for 25. Right? Like that happens all the time.
I was talking about that time I raised D'Augusto Emerald worldwide on accident, and I apologize. Awesome. I walk into the event, I buy them from a vendor. It was at the time it was like $15. One had it for 18, one had it for 20. There was only 2 copies I could find. Nobody wanted to trade theirs, so I bought the 2. And I walked over and somebody was like, "Do you want that?" And I jokingly said, because I needed one for my deck and I really didn't want to get rid of the other one. I jokingly said $50 trade. They traded for it.
Yep.
Another dude's like, "Hey, I'll trade you mine." I was like, "Okay." So I ended up at that event trading for something like 12 copies of D'Augusto Emerald, and then word spread. And what happens when that happens at an event? D'Augusto Emerald only had a few listings on TCG Player.
I only had a DT and Hidden Arsenal 7.
Yeah, I mean it was sold. It had recently had a buyout, and it had jumped from 12 to 20, but it hadn't recouped from that yet. And everybody heard that I was trading those, so everybody at the event went on and immediately was like, "Oh, it's going up!" So they went on and started ordering off all these sites. So
buy up all these.
Me doing this one thing it was a very large regional, but me doing this one thing with this one card led to that card being $50 by the time I went home, and it did not recover for a year.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like that was like the perfect storm for Emerald too. Like
I was so proud. I left with 2 deck cores that day.
That was at the time where it was like what, BA and Shadal, so like the cores were actually expensive in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. I left with German Shadal.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to say the name on this stream. But just look up El Shadal Winda German and you'll see.
So well, speaking of Winda, it's time to the segue wind. Time to wind back the clocks. All right. It's time to pass to the right. No, we pass to the left. Now look at your picks. You're feeling all right. Now put your hands on your bombs. It's Blue-Green Rush. It's time to draft Time Spiral again. Let's draft Time Spiral again. So that was me trying to do
If you ever disrespect Tim Curry that way again.
Hey, I didn't have my band with me. I didn't have my big band. I didn't have my house band with me. It's not the appropriate acoustics for my voice. All right, like, you know, we do what we can. Oh my Arceus.
Can I get F's in chat for how?
That's you literally saw the mental gears of my head just stop.
I get F's in chat for Fish. Like, he needs them today. He's got that Thursday brain.
Yeah, I got the Thursday brain, guys. Fighting Fish.
Just fighting through.
All right, so Time Spiral Block was one of the best draft formats of all time, right? I never got to draft it because I was way before my time. We picked up like starter decks from Walmart, right?
Yeah, we were like high school dabbling. We were heavily in Yu-Gi-Oh at the time, so we didn't.
Yeah.
We had a foot in the door on Magic, but not very.
So the stories I've heard from people like Jeremy, who does our Friday Magic streams, is that it's not the best draft format of all time. Personally, I want to say that Concept draft format was really good. And base Zendikar was really good.
Zen World is probably my favorite draft format.
Also, Tripodom is really good, and also Trip Innistrad, OG Innistrad, by the way, is also really good.
There's nothing like getting a deck that has Heatran Crab in it and Archive Trap, and they're like, "Oh look, I got a fetch land." It's like, okay, fetch, Archive Trap you, get that mill on.
That's dirty. Oh,
treasure hunt for a land, play it mill. It was a good time. I love Zen World.
So. This is since it's a remastered set, right? So it's taking all the hits from Time Spiral Block and just jamming them together, making them all kiss. It's like
it looks very fun. I'm very excited for it.
Certain cards have gotten rarity upgrades, like Krovax Ascended Hero. This used to be a rare, now it's a mythic. To be fair, I think it fits mythic rarity for Time Spiral Block because White Weenie was a very aggressive deck in that format.
Back then.
Yeah. We have Condor. Like, this also is reprinting all these cards too. Like, we have Future Sight, not Future Sight, Tarmogoyf. We have you understand what I meant. The best card.
I know where you're going. There's a Return to Dust right there, and that makes me happy. I love that card art on it.
Where? Yeah, that one. Yeah. Didn't they change the card art for like a commander deck or something?
Yep, and then they stuck with it, and I'm glad.
Okay. Restore Balance is a mythic. That's okay. I like that. Ooh, all right. We got Sandblast at uncommon.
Does this list include the?
Yeah. We're gonna save that.
That's why I didn't say. That's why I was beating around the bush. I didn't go right through the thicket there, buddy.
And we're making our way down the list, scrolling fast, and we're old card bound. Da.
Lord help him.
I thought it was great. We got Sarah Avenger being reprinted. This card sees a lot of playing Commander. No, it's Sarah Avatar. My bad. Sarah Avenger was a very aggressive 2-drop 3/3 flyer in the format. You can only cast it if you cast your second spell during that turn. I swear to God, if there's a ghost in this computer again, I'm gonna be very upset.
Computer goes.
Ooh, we have Aeon Chronicle and Ancestral Visions as like the premier control options of the premier control bombs of the format.
Hold on, we must appreciate this pun. Quality of the stream tanked. It's so good. Sorry.
How dare you be more funny than I am? I know funny. All right, and that was great. Don't disrespect me like that in my own stream. No. Can't have that. Ow. I felt that.
You deserve every bad thing that befalls you from this point forward.
Ow. So we have Brine Elemental, so we can play Pickles.
I'm upset that Ancestral Recall is at a mythic. I understand why it needs to be from a draft point.
You don't really want to play against the one guy who got the nuts and drafted 2 of those, right? Like,
I mean,
well,
kudos. That's the fun of draft, right? Like, if I'm coming into a time spiral draft, I want to be
That's
like, look at this
I get
thing
you,
I'm doing
Drew.
for 6 minutes.
I get you, Drew. Nothing but respect for that comedy. Gotcha. Also, I want to be the guy that has 2 of those in his deck,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Like, I go in fully knowing that if I'm able to do that, so is my opponent. If my opponent is doing it, good on you.
Yeah.
Now, if it happens 3 drafts in a row, I'm gonna be salty about it. But
I'm
you know,
so mad.
at some point, that other foot's got to come down.
Oh, God. We were me and you were doing a 2-headed draft of Rivals of Excellent draft format, right? And we ran into someone that had 2 of the Naya legendary dino that untaps lands whenever he cast
It was uncalled for.
We beat one. It took 5 cards, but we beat it.
And then they were just like,
Windmill
boom.
slam the other one, and we just go, what can we do?
Well, we wasted every removal spell we had on that one guy.
Oh, God. We were playing
It
like
was rough.
champs, dude. You can't beat 2 bombs in a row. 2 of the same bomb in a
I
row.
wish I was a champ.
Yeah, I know, right? But hey, like 4 people watched us lose spectacularly on stream, so that was great. I like the pickles deck in Time Spiral Block Constructed. Because
I like pickles.
you like pickles.
I like Cheerios, but they
Y'all
don't do
talking about
Cheerios.
Lacuna? Ooh,
They don't do Cheerios in Magic anymore, and it upsets me.
The what?
Cheerios, they don't do Cheerios anymore. When was the last time you saw Zero drop anything? You're gonna say Midnight, probably.
I was gonna say a quarter shield, but that's from the same block.
They're afraid of making things inexpensive.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look at the.
You've got that juicy R&D department. Come on, just give me some circles, give me some little zeros.
Oh yeah. You want the Cheerios so like you can play that Saram deck in Modern.
I just like being able to do a lot of things without having to be behooving to game mechanics.
Delay gets new art, which is weird, right? Like the old art used to be like a monkey or something being like phased out of existence.
I only remember that art.
This one,
Yeah.
I thought it was always. I remember old Magic shows.
Hey, Draining
Yeah,
Well. That's
Yeah, well, this card's a bomb.
yeah, that
Right?
card's a card.
So this is a control bomb that is also a finisher. Like the Draining Welk is fantastic whenever you're drafting blue in this format. You want as I think you just want 1 to 2. I don't think you want to max out on this card.
That's one of those cards that like the layman is gonna open and go, I don't need that.
Yep.
But then it gets past you and you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, but a veteran player like ourselves.
And look at this, I've got 2 rare ancestral vision.
Okay, so Draining Welk is for 4 and 2 blue. Flash flying. So you can cast it on your opponent's turn or whenever you could cast an instant. And it's flying, so it's really good because it has evasion. When Draining Welk enters the battlefield, counter target spell. Put X +1/+1 counters on Draining Welk, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. So
it is like that is a late game house.
Yep. Notice it doesn't say counter non-creature spell, counter non-instant sorcery spells, or only creatures.
What happens when you counter an Ugin?
You get 8 +1/+1 counters on this guy.
Yeah,
Then you just get to start swinging with them. You go attack.
It feels good, man.
Yeah, this helps control decks turn a corner. We have Dreamstalker in order to reset play triggers because of value. Plus, it's a 1/5 blocker for 2. All right, Jeremy's going to talk a lot about the draft format. Whenever he does his thing, we're just going to be talking about a couple of cards. Pongify got new art. Well, not new art, but reprint.
That needed to happen.
Yeah, it was pushing a $3 uncommon, right?
Yeah, all the beasts withins just need to be just.
Yeah, just reprint them into the card. Even the bad white one that no one plays.
Yeah, I mean, still good card.
Pack Negation is a fun
That
fact.
card
None of
is-
the packs are mythic. They're all rare.
I mean, that makes sense. Look at that double-edged sword.
I know, but Slaughter Pact, like I know that whenever I draft this, I'm gonna get blown out by the guy that has 2 Slaughter Packs, and he just goes Slaughter Pack your dude, get you.
I mean,
Like,
look, I said that they could have ancestral visions. I said they could have ancestral visions. Rare, like
you're like just let's just
I'm
pedal to the metal, boys.
I am chaotic neutral by nature. Put everything at common. Let's see what happens.
Everything got caught. Ooh, Teferi Mage is here. This guy is a mythic. Ooh. So, big boy Teferi, flash, creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield have flash, so it gives every creature in your deck flash. And then each opponent can't cast spells only whenever they cast sorcery. So it turns off all instant speed removal, counter magic, and draw from your opponent.
Yep.
And flash creatures too, so they can't draining wilk you.
That is like the best counter control ever.
Yeah. And he also has flash himself, so we can flash him in. He's a 3/4, so he's respectful stats.
I love that they took the time to make his ability only impact creatures.
Yeah. Could you imagine if he gives like all your spells flash? Oh boy.
Can you say $200 Mythic Rash?
Oh boy.
For like 3 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah, could you imagine if they messed up on his printing? Oh boy. Venser, Shaper, Shavak gets reprinted.
Venser.
I really like Venser. Being able to whenever your opponent plays a pack and then being able to bounce their land so they can't pay for it is really good, and you'll cheese out so many wins like that.
I love him in Commander because you can return to Planeswalker.
Me and you also do the thing where they packed in Commander. We just Venser bounce a land, and then they're like, oh no.
Bop, zoom, straight to the moon.
You just look at everyone, it's like, well, I can bounce with the land, so he can't pay for it. You just got to handle his mana rocks, and everyone at the table, Oh, Walk the Aeons, his card. All the extra turn cards were pushing dollars, by the way. Like they all, like especially Walk the Aeons where it wasn't like reprinted, except for in like a dual deck.
I see a card that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I see a rarity that makes me less happy.
Yeah, Damnation. So, Damnation is like the premier black board wipe.
That has been perfectly okay at Rare for the past, 2-3 printings? But now they have a problem with it.
Yeah, now it's
all this is a board. What regenerates? Like,
I think they're just worried about blue-black control being like an over-dominant threat in this draft environment, right? I mean, I'm just playing Wapsi's Devil Advocate.
Then don't
right
put
now.
it in there. Just don't put the card in there.
It's
don't be
Time
changing
Spiral
it.
Remastered. You need Damnation.
Okay, yeah. Then prepare to put it at Rare because that's what we expect.
I totally agree with you, but hey, you know, your boy's got a shill for someone, right? And he's got a shill for Watts. He's paying the bill.
I shill for no one. This is bogus.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It totally should be rare. No idea why it's mythic. I guess in order to keep power level down.
4-drop board wipe in black, and they're like, oh, they're gonna get slaughtered.
5 has an uncommon board wipe, right? Like,
make Damnation a common. Make Pauper good. Like, let's go.
This is a $5 What?
Yeah, just make it a common. Everything in this set could just be common.
You know what?
Pauper would
Don't
be
listen
lit.
to that guy. He knows nothing about cards.
Chainer's Edicts is no longer the best black card in Pauper.
Could you imagine? Oh,
that's a world I want to live in.
With Damnation the Pauper.
I mean, you also have Ancestral Visions. Everything in the set.
It's just everything.
All the pacts.
Everything's gone.
Yeah. Living into common. That's good.
Why is this a mythic? This is what I'm mad at. Why is this a mythic? Like, is it because it's the black suspend card and like you need a rare? Like, okay, so first of all the packs should have been mythic instead of the normal suspend cards, right? Right, because packs are like your premier suspend.
I see why they did it the way they did it there. That's the only convention I feel. I don't know. The mythics. The mythics.
I mean, you gotta put mythics in this set, right? But like,
the mythics. The mythics. You're giving me a supplemental set that is less good, pull rate wise, than a modern Masters set.
To be fair, you're not buying these packs to crack, right? You're buying these packs to draft. You're not busting these boxes for value. You are busting these boxes to draft.
I get it, but that is living end.
No, I get you. I understand.
That is living end. The only way living end is good is if you get to play a living end. Hey, no one's opening pack 3, getting living end, going, finally, my play makes sense. You got to do this once out of every 10 drafts, man. Like,
hey, you could set up some weird board positions where you suspend this on 3 and your opponent plays into it, right? Or they just kill you before it unsuspends because that's how people play against suspend cards. Oh,
That
God.
old school. Yeah. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
All right. Yep. Anything else you want to? I'm just gonna scroll through.
For the 21st time, the mythics.
You gotta have mythics in this, but there's a Chroma Angel of Fury is a mythic. I think that makes sense. I think keeping premier creatures that are notoriously hard to deal with at mythic is fine. Like a Chroma and the Teferi. I have no idea why the Crovax was there. I guess just because of White Weenie's power.
I have no idea about a lot of things.
Greater Gargonott's a rare. That's a nice rare for you to get right there. Yeah. No, it's not. We got Jay Ballard, Task Mage.
Because that's what we need in a rare slot. Yeah, stuff
Pact
into that.
Titan. You are both reiterate that reprint's important.
I realize I'm being very facetious. I know, but man.
Hey, it's a Thursday, but it feels like a Monday.
It do.
It's a Saturday, but it feels like a Tuesday.
Dude. I did that on a Sunday. It wasn't even Saturday. Saturday.
I can't wait to draft this format because this format looks absolutely nutter butter to draft. Well, being reprinted in this is amazing. Oh, yeah, God.
That is good.
I'm so happy for this.
I mean, I'm ribbing on it, but this thing does a lot of things right.
Hypergenesis.
I mean, it's just sad times when you're more excited to pull a rare than a mythic.
Yeah.
At a pull rate that dictates that's just bad.
Harmo, so I really wish that the only thing I would have changed in this whole set is done the whole set in the way of the old Future Sight frames.
Yes.
I would have freaking loved that. That would have been so cool. Like, you just do it once. Just this one time, and you never do it again.
I would like to... we haven't gotten to... I think we did. I think we passed it and we skipped. But that Street Wraith art, though...
was it the Modern Masters one? Where is it?
Up.
Where is it? Oh,
right out there.
Oh yeah, yes. It's like a master set one, right?
I think. I don't know. I haven't seen it before. I love it.
Why would you put new art in a remaster set? Future Sight
Future Sight Remastered. Oh, they'll cash in on that.
Ooh, catch it. Summoner's Pact is a jank tutor. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so
listen, right place, right time. Summoner's Pact is terrifying.
Yeah. We have Dranu, Lich Lord. Why is he not a mythic, guys? Huh? Why is my boy Dranu not a mythic? Right? He ruled Time Spiral block format.
He just wasn't as good as Damnation, man.
That's fair. We have
I'm holding every card you point out from now on to the. Is it as good as Damnation? Because that's a mythic.
We got Sliver Legion. That card's being reprinted, which is huge. We have a Chroma's Memorial. That's also very huge for Commander players.
That mythic.
To be fair, I did not want to see a Chroma's Memorial at rare.
I mean, in draft, it's horrible. I get it, but mythic.
Slivers. I love slivers. So, I come from a Duel Masters background. My favorite mechanic from Duel Masters was the Survivor mechanic, which, as I grew up, I realized was just the sliver mechanic from Magic. And so I like slivers. So they're really cool.
So I can't pause here because they have Coalition Relic, which I'm super stoked about. Gauntlet of Power. It's a mythic. That's a mythic card.
Yep.
That's, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Lotus Bloom, not a mythic. It has Lotus in its name, gosh.
The retcon.
They'll call back the Prince.
Stop the presses. We missed an opportunity.
Guys, hold on. We need more money. Cloudkey was actually getting up there in price.
Yeah. That was a $10 one at one point.
Dryad Arbor with the From the Vaults art. By the way, I think Dryad Arbor should just be banned. I don't like it. I feel like it leads to like a lot of weird play scenarios in Modern. Also,
why you gotta hate on Dryad Arbor, bro? Like,
just literally, I think it should have like a different frame or something other from a land, right?
So yeah, they should have just stuck with the Time Spiral order. So you just knew this is not a thing that is normal.
Yeah, I only have the issue with the From the Vaults branding because it looks like a forest.
Yeah. But it's not.
The storage lanes are actually really good, by the way. They're really good in sealed, and they're really good in Commander because people don't play lane destruction in Commander. And so, with some proliferate, me and Dave, you play against my Meta Mighty Ageless deck.
I beat it.
I had 20 calciform. I had 20 storage counters in my calciform pools, and like that enables you to like do some funny stuff.
And I still beat it.
You know what?
Because how many counters did my Omnath have?
Listen, hey, it doesn't matter how many extra turns you take if you can't beat a 25-25, okay?
Listen, that green
With
deck
trample.
looks like a 4, but it plays like an 8.
You have some cards in that deck.
Nah, dude, it
This
shouldn't work.
gets under my skin. Hilaria West. This was an uncommon from Time Spiral block. Why in the name of Arceus is this? Why in the name of Rosewater is this a rare? This was an uncommon.
I mean, it's almost as good as Damnation.
Like, people always hate on this. I love you, Rabbit. Love him. Like, that's my frustration. Like, this card just, it sees playing a bunch of French decks in Modern, and it sees a lot of playing Commander because it tutors up lands. It's a non-green way to tutor lands or any 0 CMC spell. Why is this a rare? Like, uncommon? It was already, like, pushing, like, what? From the Vault lore, it was pushing, like, $12. Like, it was already $7. You're not doing anything to the price now.
My hourglass winds down. We must make haste.
We must make haste. Okay. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. We got Vesuva.
Johnny's Pride Mate in
right.
Old Border.
Finally, why you're buying this set? Why you're cracking these packs? Old Border cards.
I love them.
These are absolutely amazing.
That Path to Exile is incredible.
The Resto Angel is so good. The Silence is really good. The SRAM is good. The Threat Inspector.
No, keep going. You've not got to my pet one.
Mole Drifter, Mr. Confluence, Ninja of Depower, Baral, the Staple Stroke.
That ninja, that Ponder though. Oh, that Ponder.
That Remand is so good, and it fits the art for Remand so much. Oh,
Treasure Cruise. Oh,
I need Japanese one. Please tell me these come in Japanese.
Oh,
I need Japanese.
Keep going. You're almost there. God, that Gerbog Angler. I need that.
Wait, the bones look so good. Liliana's Triumph, Leyline of the Void.
You're just skimming right on over Gray Merchant. Like,
I mean, hey, there's Dismember.
The Relentless Rats.
That's
dude,
really
that's going to be an expensive card.
God, we have Tassiger. We have Stinkweed.
Penguin
Bonds. Oh, I didn't see Thoughtseize.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's old art.
Yeah, they did old art too. They did it right.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. And they did Old Border Yawgmoth.
Oh, I saw the Yawgmoth. That's so good.
How'd you not see the Thoughtseize? This is so good.
Yo, I didn't know Damnation was a mythic.
Look at that Hex Mage. Just do an entire set of this. You should have just said, here is Old Border new stuff.
Here, Time Spiral Remastered, but Old Border. We don't care. Illustrious response at death. I need that because she's my favorite Mardu commander. Oh, my Build'em Riveler, Dreadhorde Arcanus. What? That card got banned in Legacy, didn't it? Atali Primal Storm, Elden of the
Swift
Third
Spear, Fast and Flames, Timber Battle Rage.
Rain.
The ones like so. The stipulation was like
Pyro.
Yeah. So the stipulation was that they wouldn't do anything that had an Old Border previously or that was previously printed in a Time Spiral set with the Old Border this time, which I feel really hindered. They really should have just done every single card in Old Border, and this would have been. Can you imagine the Old Border Damnation?
Eternal Witness.
That E-Witness. So you're getting the green cards because I'm about to gush. All right.
Yeah.
Scroll up one more row. Beast Within, Beast Whisperer, Become Immense, Courser of Crufix, Eternal Witness, Evolutionary Leap, which is an unsung hero commander. More people should play it. That card is insane.
That card is bonkers.
That card single-handedly wins me more games than any other card in my deck.
It turns a board wipe into free advantage.
Well, so I play Omnath, so that's a 2-drop. So I go land a guy, I go land Evolutionary Leap, land, I could play Omnath next turn, or I could float a land, whatever. So next turn, if I got any kind of ramp, I can even do it that turn. I can turn my Omnath commander, sack him, go into
Go into anything off the top.
No, what's the $5? The one that Seedborn Muse.
Yep.
I can go just fetch out, play Seedborn Muse. Now I got a Seedborn Muse. Now guess what? Next turn, Winter's Orb. I get to play Magic. You don't.
It also turns like any board wipe your opponent controls into just stacking whatever dude because they're gonna die anyways, right? And turning them into more dudes. Like,
And if you think for a second I have not sacked a card to go get a rampaging elephant or whatever it is.
It's off the top, so it's a blind one.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
real?
it's a blind
Okay,
one.
well,
Yeah.
still good.
Yeah,
Still
no.
good.
I love evolutionary. Like there's Farseek, there's Nature's Claim, Prime Time. Oh boy. We have Reclamation Sage, Sylvan Scrying. To be fair, this should have been the old art of Sylvan Scrying, where it's Glissa holding the
that
branch.
Farseek though, Thrag Tusk, Time of Need,
Abrupt
Decay.
Decay.
Is
Oh,
good. Blood
Braid.
Braid is one of my favorite.
Oh, I don't
That
care about
Consuming
the
Aberration is nice.
That's a casual power.
Dovin's Veto is good.
The Feather is really cool. Night Reliquary.
Mortify.
Mortify. Why is Secret Plans here?
But you skipped over Ragdos Charm, which
Yeah, because I'm like, why is this here?
Tide
Why
Hollow
is this?
Spiller.
Slimefoot, that's really
Now
cool.
my favorite is the artifacts because they did Chalice of the Void, they did Contagion Clasp, they did Cranial Plating, they did Everflowing Chalice. You're going too fast. Hedron Archive, which is Unsung Hero Commander. Hollow One, Leveler, which is popular because of that combo with the Jace.
Yeah, and Laboratory Mania.
Yep. Panharmonicon, just so good.
Oh, that looks sweet.
Yeah.
Invitational art.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Vanquisher's Banner. They did Ancient Den.
Oh, did they do all the artifact lands?
No,
or just,
they
just
did Ancient Den. Yep.
Is Ancient Den going to get unbanned?
I mean, if they're going to ban any of them, it would be that one.
Yeah, it's that or Trio Tales, right?
I mean, what do you play that in? Like, you make
Doesn't want to play white at all, right? In modern?
Like, it makes Tempered Steel slightly better. Ooh.
I mean, that's fine.
They got rid of Mox. Didn't they ban Mox Opal?
I think so too.
Yeah, so if they ban Mox Opal, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's Ancient Den or Trio Tales. I think. Yeah. Hot take. I think this is foreshadowing a Ancient Den unbanning. Then again, I haven't kept up with
really
modern
good.
at all.
Also,
already be unbanned for all I know.
Also, if Mox Opal is banned, they just hate circles. They hate zeros. It is unnecessary. Stop the fear. Educate. Don't hate.
Stop the fear. The utility lands from like the Mystic Sanctuary, Blighted Woodland, which is amazing by the way, Commander. Build a Ruin.
I'm waiting for the Waste. And they did the good art.
They did the best art for Waste, and it's all going to be old border. It's going to be so cool. Educate, donate, reciprocate. Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's drafting this is going to be fun. Damnation should have been a rare. Old border is good.
Old border is why you're buying that.
It's get it.
Okay. So, last thing. Typically, we win with the table tell. We're not going to do that this week. Because, one of my favorite content creators came out with a video recently that I didn't... The quality of that video could best be summed up as the sound a wet fart makes. So, off the top, there are a few roasts in here. It's only meant to be a roast. I know I shouldn't have to say this, but people might have heard other ways. I'm not trying to be overly mean. I'm not trying to bully. I am literally just trying to... The roasts are in here just for comedic effect. No malice intended.
That's all I do, Tortle, is scream random words. Call to actions in every sentence.
Okay. So, my favorite content creator came out with a recent video bashing MTG universes. Now, I think it's my due diligence to talk about the stuff that he didn't talk about. I am, of course, talking about Profs in his video on MTG universes and its pessimistic outlook. However, let's do it our way. My way. The unabashed, the unfiltered, the unadulterated, the I don't know another unword hype I bring to the table. And, Prof, if you, want someone to talk hot takes about the hobby industry, hit your boy up, okay? Let your boy know. Let your boy know.
Probably wise to put that at the top.
Yeah, before, I just light that bridge on fire.
The beacons are lit. Gondor calls for aid.
Beacons are lit. Fishman calls for aid. Prof's fans are attacking him. So context before we get to some hype. All right. So we all know Magic is having a hard time getting new players in, right? Magic Gathering is never anyone's gateway game, right?
Thanks, COVID.
This has been a thing in Magic for a while.
Yeah.
I've worked at plenty of card shops where the hardest game to get people into was Magic, because Magic doesn't have an IP associated to it like how Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh do. Like, it was an easier sell to get people into Card Fight Vanguard when I worked in a card shop in Richmond, Kentucky, than it was to get people into Magic.
You could basically say, like, so Yu-Gi-Oh has the anime, and they have a card game, but, like, you could basically say it's a funnel, right?
Yep.
They have the broad catch of the people, and they just filter in.
Yeah.
But Magic is more like a door. You have to, like, want to open the door.
So Magic is only known... Magic is not a household name, right? Like, sure. I'm talking about, like, actual, like, Magic players, or, like, actual normal people from, like, Middletown, Ohio, right? Like, I'm sure if you ask any of them what Magic the Gathering is, they'll look at you with the vacant and blank expression as the same as my corgi gives me whenever I talk to him about my childhood trauma. Sure, he's smiling, and he's nodding, and he's very enthusiastic for you to be talking to him, but I don't think he really understands that it's all rooted in my deep childhood trauma.
Thanks, Dad, for projecting your childhood onto me.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Magic cards. So yeah. Anyways, so in order to get Joe Schmo into this game, in order for Magic to continue to grow, we need something for average people to latch on to, right? And I think the best way to go about this is not a Netflix series, right? Because Netflix series is like Witcher, right? We watch it once and then we never talk about it again.
Well, they had the books, which is why I got into Magic. And then they were like, oh, well, let's just give them 3 paragraphs on a website they have to search really hard for. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm very upset that they got rid of the novelizations. That was the worst thing they've ever done. I bought every book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what got me in was Mirrodin released, and I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously. And I walked into the card shop. It had come out, and I was like, what's that? And they're like, oh, that's the book for the Magic the Gathering. And I was like, there's books? Will this teach me how to play? No, but it's a good story. So I bought Mirrodin's book, read Mirrodin's book, went back like a week, like the following weekend, and I bought a pack of Mirrodin cards. I've been playing Magic ever since. But you know what? You don't get that now.
It's also, whenever you're trying to introduce someone into Magic, you don't start off with, oh, well, here's 25 years of history, right? No. Because
back in my day, damnation was a rare.
Those mythics, we didn't even have a mythic rarity, I'll tell you what.
What's a planeswalker? I don't read these books, which is probably why they got rid of them. But
exactly. Well, the biggest barrier to entry for Magic has always been its generic fantasy look, right? Listen, this is all a matter of opinion. This is all subjective taste. I'm saying the word generic just because it looks like every other fantasy universe with elves in it, right? And more importantly, I come from a Yu-Gi-Oh background. So my first time looking at Magic cards was seeing the sets constantly change with new characters and new cards. And I'm totally lost, right? Like in Pokemon and in Yu-Gi-Oh, like there's always like cards, right? Like there's always something on the pack. At least back in the day for Yu-Gi-Oh, like there was always Yu-Gi on the pack. It's like you knew you were going to get Yu-Gi-Oh cards in this. For me, and I look at a Magic pack, it's always different arts, and it's always different, and it's always a different story. And so I'm like, this barrier for entry just scares me away. Like there's no way. Why am I going to dump a bunch of money into something that just looks like something I'm not in?
More importantly, you look at a box of Magic card circa 2015 and a box of Magic cards circa 2021, and they're identical. Like if I walked into a card shop and there's 20 sealed boxes for me to choose packs from, I don't know what is current. Like when I first started playing Magic, first tournament I went to, I walked in, I was like, here's my deck. I don't know much. You seem to, everybody knows you. Here, check. And he checked and he's like, oh, you can't play with this.
Yep.
He's like, why? He's like, because this. Oh, definitely this. And then I went from having a 60 card deck
Yep.
to having a 12 card deck, and I was like,
Oh,
what do I need? And he's like, buy this, buy this, buy this, and then that one guy taught me about rotation, and I was able to keep up with it.
And see, you learn all that from someone else. That's the biggest barrier of entry, right? So all the people that have gotten into Magic and stayed in Magic it's always been through someone else. It's always been from a friend. It's always been from someone at a card shop who guided you into how to get into Magic.
Very community based.
Yes. However, most people don't have that kind of network anymore, right? Most people are now buying into hobbies because they look cool, right? Or because they already have a attachment to an IP.
And I get to say that great phrase, why would I put pants on to go to the card shop when I could play Arena at home?
Yeah. So, I lost where I was in this. All right.
Yep. Timing.
Yeah, I know. Fantastic timing. This is why you guys tune in. All right. So anyways, we talked enough about the prefix of like Magic has a new player problem. It's very hard for new players to get in. Let's talk about the good stuff that's going to happen. All right. So everyone's talking about all the bad stuff from like IP. It's been like Captain America picking up swords. Whatever. I don't care about that stuff. What I care about is cool game pieces, all right? Seriously, I have no idea, like, why some of those MTG boomers, seriously, I think some of those boomers are going to make WotC great again hats, so watch out. Also, Prof, if you make those hats, like, hit your boy up. I need licensing rights. Trademark.
Yeah, do that right now.
Do it right now. Like, so imagine, like, from the Lord of the Rings set, like, just imagine what cool cards that we could get, all right? So, like, for instance, we could get the One Ring, where it gives... Hobbit's unblockable because, Frodo can turn invisible.
But it's just Soul Ring.
Yeah, it's just the art for Soul Ring.
Main set release Soul Ring.
Yeah, it could give other non-Hobbits like +4/+0 Intimidate, but it has to attack each turn in a Fable, and like if
the One Ring would
attack, you'll lose half your life, right?
The One Ring would never specify Hobbits. Let's just go into flavor. The One Ring specifically was for everybody. Everybody was corruptible by it.
But then why didn't Sauron go invisible? Huh? Why no invisible? Why no invisible?
I would say that at the cost of 5 life, you could tap it and be untargetable this turn.
No, yeah, whatever. Cool cards, cool design mechanics. All right, so let's look at the Flame of the West, right? Aragon's sword from Return of the King, right? Just think, it could just be a generic sword that no one cares about, just grants +1/+1, whatever, throwaway card in the set because it's an IP card.
But it gives vigilance.
It gives vigilance. All right, I don't care about that. Let's talk about Nutter Butters. All right, let's give it +6/+6 vigilance, trample, lifelink, first strike, and on attack, you exile 2 creatures from either player's graveyard, and you put a token into play of those creatures. The exact same thing, except for they are a spirit with flying in addition to their other decks.
See, I just like the concept that so the story of the wizards from Lord of the Rings, right? Like that they're like demigods or whatever. Ethereal, they're magic beings. I wanna see a Gandalf Planeswalker and a Saruman, and we could have the brown. But there were 5. It's so weird. I didn't even know we were doing this. Didn't even know we were going on this thing. But I definitely, right before they made the Magic announcement, watched, like, just for some reason at night, I was like, I need to watch the story of Gandalf.
I need to know the history of the wizard.
And I sat for like an hour just trolling YouTube, watching do you know there were 5 wizards?
Yeah.
You don't hear from the other 2. They don't come back.
The brown wizard. Yeah, didn't.
There were 2 blues, a white, a brown, and a gray.
What happened to the brown guy we saw in the Hobbit, right?
So
he had the weird
hairs. So I can't remember the name of, like, I'm sure chat is going to tear me apart, but like they're at the ethereal plane or whatever. Oh yeah, no, Gandalf. Gandalf would be a mythic.
They introduced new mechanics over time. That's also Fair Rabbit.
But I don't know, I digress. They went with the Saruman when they first landed to the east.
Oh,
and then Gandalf and the brown went to the right, or the right.
Ah,
It's a Thursday.
Okay. Well,
but it
back on
feels-
topic. Let me
Yeah.
grab the steering wheel and grab it firmly right here.
I don't even have a license. I don't know why I had it.
I don't either. Why am I here? What? Who is driving this car?
I have a license, just so we're clear.
All right. So we want exciting cards out of these, right? Like we don't want boring stuff. Why do people want boring cards out of these? And I swear to God, the moment if they do print boring cards, like because they're worried about power level for Commander, the first people that are going to point at that product and be like, see, told you, this product wasn't good, are the same people complaining about it right now because it's like, oh, we don't want powerful cards. And then whenever they print unpowerful cards and just terrible cards, you'll just point at it and say, huh, well, this is why we shouldn't have IPs in Magic. Hate that mentality. Hate it. Hate it. Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, what is Magic the Gathering? Well, first of all, this is a very subjective question, right? Because the definition of immersion and the definition of what is Magic will differ for each and every person. I will have different opinions from my peers. Me and Dave will probably not have the exact same.
Yeah, most of the time we disagree on it.
Yeah, no, Connor. However, unlike some people, I will not use fear-mongering or empty threats to elicit an emotional response, or make you feel bad for liking something. We're not going to do that. We are simply just going to talk. Magic the Gathering
Dialogue
is an ever-evolving and ever-changing game. I moved up my thing and I lost all momentum. Oh boy, is a ever-evolving, ever-changing game. I cannot think of any other game that has just so many game pieces that you can interchange and play with. Like, Commander is one of the best gameplay experiences I've ever had from a tabletop perspective. Like, because it is something that you lovingly created from millions of cards.
Yeah, my deck makes no sense.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's yours.
Yeah, it's mine. Many are like it, but this one is
exactly
mine.
like that,
Yeah,
right?
no.
Or-
Why would they? They're gonna be like, why do you have this? This is stupid. I'm like,
And like Magic is the only game where there's so many formats to play. There's standard, there's modern, there's a million other formats. Like Wizard's Tower is a thing, Vanguard is a thing. Like there's so many ways to play Magic. Like this is the only game that has this many variations, and it's absolutely amazing.
some only have one.
Some only have one way to play.
Looking at you, Yu-Gi-Oh.
But they're cards. They're not stories. To me, those cards are way more important than their lore or legacy that they have in a fictional universe that I cannot interact
And it's that kind of thinking that got my novels taken away.
But hey, however, I am going to preference this. Because I like Jace Vryn's Prodigy for a number of reasons. And none of them involve the lore behind him. I like Jace Vryn's Prodigy because that card won me $300 at a PPTQ because he killed 3 creatures by blocking and fighting them with Dramoka's command. That Jace Vryn's Prodigy won me $300 by literally bathing in the blood of his enemies. And that's why I like Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
That was a good Jace.
The stories I have with that card. You, a person with Vorthos in your Twitter handle or in your Twitter bio, you do not care about that story. You do not care about why I like that card. And that's fine, because I'm not trying to sway you on that. I'm not trying to make you like this card because of my story, right? It's the same way I don't expect you to try to make me like the story behind something, right? We can all enjoy something in our own ways.
I mean, if they let me come on here and just read you chapters from the Magic novels so they would come back, I would do that.
That's what I like about card games. That's what I like about Magic.
It's almost like entertainment is subjective.
Yeah, exactly. It's
And-
almost as if your immersion is subjective. It's
And-
almost as if everything is subjective. I like Magic because of the stories. Because of the stories those cards have whenever you play them. I love the stories of those deep runs at events, right? Where like, you built your deck the night before, right? And, like, for some reason, you are just playing hot, and that deck is, like, just flying off the handle, and you are just crushing it. Love those stories. I love the stories of making a deep run in a tournament, just fighting tooth and nail to get in the top 8 against your worst matchup.
And then losing on the bubble.
Yeah. I also really love the stories of you just completely getting dunked on in that event that you made top 8 of that you fought tooth and nail to get into. Right? I love those stories. Like, I love the stories of like accidentally falling backwards into like your Shroom combo from your Shroom EDH deck.
My brain heard you say fall backwards, and I was like, pit of lava. He's gonna say pit of lava.
You know, it was actually quicksand. Like, my mind always goes quicksand. Like, I don't know why.
I really thought that was gonna be a bigger problem growing up.
Yeah, me too.
Why is no one doing anything about this?
It's just nowhere.
It's quicksand everywhere.
Even the simple storytelling of just simple game mechanics. So I talked about Duel Masters earlier. Some would say I laid the little seed, and you guys are probably thinking what Duel Masters is. There's a scene in the first episode of Duel Masters where the senpai character, the teacher character, is showing the main pro deck how to play, and there's a scene where they tap cards for mana, and you see a mana orb fly up and into the card they are casting.
That's dope.
That's how I think of resource games now. Like, every single time I play Magic, that's why I visualize. Like, because
it's a mana bubble.
Yeah, it's a mana bubble. Like, it's how you play the game tells a story. Every Commander game is a different story. To me, the stories behind the cards are cool, and I'm really glad it's there. And that's the thing. Your stories are not going away. Like, in fact, WotC's beefing up that department. They're giving them actual writers. Like, they just hired a huge fantasy writer.
Good, make me a book.
Yeah, they started working with the Dragonlance people. Like, they are putting in effort for the novels.
And not one for a block. No. Every set, own book. Come on. Please. Just, I implore you, please go just the Mirrodin. People didn't even like Mirrodin because like, oh, it's all artifacts. Read the Mirrodin novels. Read the Ravnica novels. I got an extra copy. For some reason, I have 3 copies of the Ravnica first novel.
That one's bad.
No, man. It was so okay. Mirrodin was far better, but
Guild Pact was really cool because it leaves off on a cliffhanger because they're going to bomb the Ghost Council.
Did you read Dissension, though?
No, I did not read Dissension.
Okay, I also have 2 copies of Dissension. Don't ask me why.
We'll probably borrow that. All right. But see, that's why I like Magic, because to me, hold on, I need to find this. Hold on. See, this is why I should record these beforehand. All right.
So anyway, like I was saying about these novels, make more
novels.
In Dissension, there's a lot of ghosties. It's fun.
Because Magic to me is change, and change has always been amazing for Magic. Change has led to absolutely stunning things: Planeswalkers, Commander, focusing on fringe formats like Two-Headed Giant for Battle Bond,
The Walking Dead Secret Lair,
Conspiracies, the Conspiracy set. Planeswalkers, I think I already said that. Static abilities on Planeswalkers.
Static abilities on Planeswalkers, more of that.
Coming up with Modern. Establishing the rotation system so like you can keep your tournament formats somewhat fixed on a fixed power level. Granted, and now it's not the case, but that was the case beforehand. I think the crossovering of IPs will just do nothing but help improve Magic. Like, it's going to lead to new cards. It's going to lead to new players jumping into the game because they want to play it now. Instead of being like, oh, well, I want to play this, but this just looks like an elf, right? Now they can look at the Warhammer deck and be like, oh, this is Warhammer? Oh, this is Saint Sanguinius? Oh, yeah, no, I'm about this guy. Or the Ultramarines, right? They'll be like, oh, this is the Emperor of Mankind as a card? Whoa.
I just want them to do the Vermintide set.
Because, that's probably
that Commander deck, though.
I love the Vermintide. And from that, whenever we get the people in, we can hook them on the amazing gameplay Magic. Because Magic is one of the greatest games ever. Because it is just so fun. It's so deep. If you don't like Magic, that's totally fine. This is just an opinion piece, right? Different opinions.
Put your other formats on Arena. No. Hold on.
Yep.
One just last thing,
no,
last
you're
tangent
fine.
I'm going on. Put them on Arena. You know how hard it is? I never used MTG Online. I got it, and I was like, what is this? Like, shouldn't have to code to play a game. Like, it's ridiculous. Put them on Arena. You have it. Put Arena on mobile. Boom, done.
I
You're
think they're
fixed.
working on that, by the way.
Do it faster. You've had like 4 years, man. Just do it. Give me novels back.
My closing thing before we go to end the stream is change is magic now, and I am so excited to see it happen. And I hope you guys are too. And if not, okay, Boomer, Fishman out. All right, closing things. Where can people find you, Dad?
You can find me at Twitter.
Immediately take a swing at an MTG God and like plug yourself. All right,
Jab and back off.
jab and hey guys.
You can find me on Twitter at Dead Diablo with a 0. You can find me at twitch.tv/Dead Diablo with a 0, or you can just search Dead Diablo. For some reason, they won't let me have my name. Yeah, right. And my closing statement, I'm gonna say, watch Hajime no Ippo. My favorite anime.
And I made a joke in chat earlier today about the Dempsey roll. No one got it.
Watch Hajime no Ippo.
Read Hajime no Ippo. It's great.
Read it actually. Unless you like subbed. The dub, no. Watch the subbed or read the manga. It's worth. Watch it. That's all I got.
I'm Gaming Fishman. You can find me at GamingFishman, Twitch.tv, and Gaming Fishman at everywhere. Make sure to slap that follow button for me. We're doing a lot of things. We're going to be doing a lot of Digimon content. As soon as I get my tax return, we are hitting that super hard. I got a bunch of webcam locals lined up. It is going to be fantastic.
He's drugged me into it.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say, so I have my 1.5 box. I pulled half his deck.
Yeah, so.
That was real fun. Stay tuned for Friday whenever we have the Yu-Gi-Oh! Super Show at 6. We have the Jeremy stream at 2, where he's going to be talking about Commander, and he's going to be doing the box breaks for Time Spiral Remastered, I think. We are doing Drew's Poke Shop this Wednesday. I don't think we have anything planned for this Saturday because we're on alternating Saturdays right now. But then we have Drew's Poke Shop on Wednesday. We have Troll versus Toad next week, and it's going to be GOAT format, and your boy is, he's what do you call him? An expert GOAT player.
That's why I have this nice goatee.
So that's going to be fun. and Fishtank right after that. So stay tuned for all that and more coming up. All right, guys. Fantastic.
Damnation should be rare. Bye.
Fishman splashing out.